Hi Maker, I'm Angel with fleecefun.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this hooded blanket. And it even has little things on the side so you can get your little hands warm too, all snuggy. For this project, you will need the following. For this fleece sewing project, you will need 3 yards of fleece. If you want to have the hood and pocket sections in a different color, it's 1 yard of fleece for them and 2 yards of fleece for the blanket. Rotary cutter, ruler, and mat. And sewing essentials, sewing machine, pins, needles, thread, that sort of thing. And of course you'll need Fleece Fun's free PDF pattern that's available on fleecefun.com by filling out the form. Note, for men you will want an additional ½ yard for their arm span. Also, if you want to make the blanket longer, I recommend using wider fleece that is up to 85 inches to make it a little more longer and cozy for a guy. Alright, now that you have all those items, let's cut out the pieces that we need. How to make a hooded blanket, free pattern for adult and child. Step 1, cut out the free pattern. You'll need to assemble the pattern. If you're unfamiliar with that, there's instructions on fleecefun.com's YouTube channel. Decide if you're making a blanket for an adult or a child. Cut the pattern to the correct size of hood. All the other pattern pieces are the same. On folded fabric, cut out the hood and outer pockets. You should have 2 of each. On folded fabric, cut out 2 of the hand warmers. If you are making a hooded blanket out of just one fabric, you will need to make sure you square off the end. Make it even, straight across, after cutting out the pattern pieces. If you are using 2 fabrics, make sure the ends of the fabric that you'll be using as the main body of the blanket are even. And if you have extra fleece, you can make a fleece hat too, with some of that leftover scrap. Finally, for the fabric that makes up the main body of the blanket, cut off the selvages. These are the edges of the blanket that are a different texture. Sometimes there's holes in it, sometimes there's writing, and it's also where the pattern stops. So you should have 2 hood pieces, 2 pockets, 2 hand warmers, and the body of the blanket ready to go with the selvages cut off and the ends even. The main body of the blanket should be 2 yards by the width of the fabric. Alright, now that we have all those items cut out, let's start sewing. Step 2, make the hood to the blanket. With right sides together, sew the back of the hood using a ½ inch seam allowance. Once sewn, snip tiny notches in the curve to help the hood lay nicely. Turn right side out. Turn under the front edge of the hood 1 inch. Sew down along the edge using a zigzag stitch. Set the hood aside. Alright, looks good. Next step. Step 3, prep the pockets and hand warmers. Take the 2 pocket pattern pieces. Turn the tops, the end that is not rounded, and turn it under 1 inch so it folds to the back of the pocket, the wrong sides touching. Sew down along the edge using a zigzag stitch on each pocket. Set the pockets aside. Grab the 2 hand warmer pieces. Turn the long diagonal edge under ½ inch. It should fold back to the wrong side of the fabric. Sew down along the edge using a zigzag stitch on each hand warmer. After sewing, you'll notice a little tail sticking out from the triangle. Snip it off, taking care not to cut through your seam. Repeat with the other hand warmer. Set the hand warmers aside. Do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on another tutorial just like this one. And hey, hit the bell icon too while you're clicking all over the place. Step 4. Add the hood and hand warmers to the DIY fleece blanket. Get the main blanket piece. We want the length of the blanket to be 56 inches to 58 inches, or the width of the fabric. Mark the center on one of the sides where the selvage was cut from. This can easily be done by folding it in half and marking it with a pin. Right side should be facing up at you. Line up the center seam with the pin or marking you just made. Pin the hood to the blanket, right sides together. Sew on using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now it's time to sew on the hand warmers on each side. With right sides together, pin one of the hand warmers to the left corner of the blanket, the same side as the hood. Sew into place using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Repeat this process with the right side of the blanket. Sew the other hand warmer into place using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Note, it's okay if there's a little overlap with the hand warmer and the hood. Just make sure the hood is under the hand warmer. Now that it's sewn, let's make sure it lays nicely. Carefully trim some of the excess off the corner of the hand warmer and blanket to eliminate bulk. Repeat on the other side. Be careful not to trim through your seam. Turn the hand warmer right side out. Now it's time to finish up the blanket. All right, we got our cozy little hand pockets on. Let's move on. Step 5, sew on the pockets and finish the edges of the hooded blanket. Time to add the pockets and finish up. The pocket should be placed about 1/3 of the way down. The top should be the same direction as the hood and placed 6 inches from the edge. Pin and sew into place using a zigzag stitch along the edge, leaving the top open. Once the pockets are in place, it's time to finish off the edges of the blanket. Turn under the edges of the blanket 1/2 inch, wrong sides touching. And sew into place using a zigzag stitch along the edge. If desired, you can top stitch the hand warmers and hood as well. You just completed the hooded blanket tutorial. And that's it. You have this great hooded blanket that is more of the traditional blanket look, and it's honestly just a nice thing to have around, especially if you're in a very cold climate. I have several other tutorials on fleecefun.com that I think you'll enjoy, like fleece blankets, quilts, all that kind of good, comfy, cozy stuff if you're looking for that. I have that available there. And while you're here, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on another tutorial just like this one. And hey, hit the bell icon too while you're clicking all over the place. And let me know in the comments below, who would you make this for? It's okay if it's yourself. I understand that. Nothing wrong with making yourself nice things.